I think we can all agree if there's one truly awesome aspect of the science fiction genre, it's the fun, futuristic gadgets. Rick and Morty is no exception to the genre, but they definitely amp up the creativity when it comes to the realm of possibility. This is Justin with Channel Frederator, and today we're counting down 14 of the best Rick and Morty inventions that we've seen so far. So hold on to your terry folds, because this sci-fi is about to get real. Number 14, Grappling Shoes. We're kicking off this list with a throwback all the way from the very first episode of Season 1, Rick's Grappling Shoes, because who could ever forget these defiant wonders of physics? If you've seen the episode, then you might recall Rick giving Morty some of these trendy, futuristic kicks on their first known adventure to another planet. These kicks supposedly allow him to stroll down a rather steep incline safely to retrieve the mega seeds. That's right, these shoes enable users to seamlessly walk through any obstacle with minimal effort. From sprinting up the side of skyscrapers to scaling Mount Everest with ease, these bad boys can withstand any terrain in the entire multiverse. As long as you remember to turn them on first, anyway. Otherwise, you may need to require some broken bone serum from a universe capable of supplying it. Number 13, Pickle and Anti-Pickle Serum. When you're a mad scientist with nothing but time on your hands, the phrase salt life can have an entirely different meaning. Season 3's episode Pickle Rick taught us that lesson when Rick Sanchez whips up a nifty pickle serum just to avoid going to family therapy. I can think of about 1,000 times when turning myself into a pickle would have been the perfect excuse to back out of a previous engagement, but when plans backfire, there's always the handy anti-pickle serum there to transform you back into a human. But it's crucial to keep track of the serum at all costs, and if the serum is lost or stolen, it'll take nothing short of a fully functional exosuit just to walk again. Number 12, Multiverse Goggles. Have you ever thought about what life would be like in an alternate universe? How different things would be if you continued to date that one person, took that one job, or went with chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla? In Rick's D-Minutes, we get a preview of what life would be like in an alternate dimension for whoever happens to be looking through these goggles. They enable users to peer into parallel timelines whenever they're feeling curious about past decisions. However, these goggles should come with a warning: whoever uses them may experience extreme buyer's remorse. After all, not every decision you make is always the best decision. Number 11, Cybernetic Helmet. For anyone who's gone through the struggle of training an animal, the thought of a cybernetic helmet capable of raising their intelligence level might sound like a godsend, until said animal realizes its ability to overthrow mankind. In episode 2, Lawnmower Dog, we see this whole scenario play out when Rick whips up a cybernetic helmet for the Smith's family dog, Snuffles. Once it's securely attached, Snuffles instantly recognizes and understands commands along with his subservient place among mankind. Within a matter of hours, Snuffles figures out a way to overthrow the entire planet, even though he ultimately decides not to go through with this decision. Good boy, Snuffles. But honestly though, if the helmet works that fast and efficiently, I'd still consider buying one, even though we'd be at the risk of being totally enslaved. Honestly, totally worth the trouble. Number 10. Exosuits. Die-hard Rick and Morty fans had to know this invention was coming at least at some point on this list, but there's not just one version worth mentioning. The metal Iron Man-esque exosuits from Look Who's Purging Now, and the more organic, fleshy roach and rat prototypes seen in Pickle Rick. These fully functional suits graced us with some of the best action sequences of the entire series, from gunning down aliens with messed up class systems to a lonely pickle person fighting off dozens of ravenous sewer rats. It's pretty clear that these suits pack enough punch to make even Tony Stark blush. Of course, while the fleshy suits were simply born out of necessity, the metallic suits are the superior pick for anyone who's not temporarily a food item. Still, both versions are fully capable of kicking some major butt. The only real difference here is hardware versus software. No pun intended. Number 9, the Anything Magnet. We saw this glorious invention in passing recently, but the wondrous fantasies that resulted have lingered our minds ever since. Imagine an ordinary magnet remodeled with a command setting capable of attracting whatever your heart desired. Are you imagining it? That's like having a genie at your disposal, but with far less obligation and far more results. In the episode Morty's Mind Blowers, we see Rick summon a hefty amount of zip ties in a matter of seconds using this miracle of science. And of course, we also see Morty attempt to do the same with women. Unfortunately, this is an Axe body spray, and women are quite literally attracted to the physical magnet in a sense, and not the person using the magnet. Yeah, that's a tough lesson to learn once a large group of injured ladies are stuck to your house like flies on sticky paper. I guess it just goes to show always be careful for what you wish for. Number 8, Inception Device. Regardless of your stance on the Chris Nolan film Inception, the concept of physically manipulating a stranger's dreams Sounds pretty cool, right? That's why Season 1's Inception Device makes our list here at number 8. Admitted, this is one invention any of us would love to have set aside for a rainy day, and it's conveniently designed to clip right onto the ear like any Bluetooth wireless headset. This little mechanism is quite literally a dream come true for anybody willing to live out the plot of Inception. Think of the unlimited possibilities that await you, everything from planting unsuspected ideas into people's heads, dream jumping, hanging with demons, and even attending dream orgies. There's something for everyone here to enjoy. Number 7, Interdimensional Cable. We've all been caught up in channel surfing at some point in our lives, and if there's nothing good on TV, then we just keep flipping through those channels or scrolling through video apps with high hopes until something new or exciting catches our attention. That's why the idea of infinite channels tapping into infinite timelines is so mind-numbingly brilliant. As seen in the episode Rick's D-Minutes, Interdimensional Cable does away with the dreaded nothing to watch scenario and replaces it with the far more delightful too much to watch solution. With infinite channels, you're bound to discover quality programming like ball fondlers, how did they even get there, or you might even see yourself on television. Interdimensional Cable is so entertaining, it's easy to obsess over, or at the very least, it's a great way to pass the time. Number 6, Jerry Burry. It's not a great thought, but we've all had it at some point. How can I lose the person I'm with so I no longer have to tolerate them? Hey, don't judge, I said it wasn't a great thought. Well, when Rick had that thought about Jerry, the solution varied drastically from what most people might have come up with, unless they too built a daycare made specifically for that person and their many alternate versions. The Jerry Burry daycare for Jerry's, which made its first appearance in Morty Night Run, was an incredibly genius concept that even our Rick from C-137 wishes he'd invented first. The idea is foolproof. Open a business specific to one person, advertise to alternate versions of that person, and offer pastimes for said person that you know will preoccupy them every single time. You know, it honestly does beg the question, if you had a daycare specific to your needs, what exactly would that entail? Probably watching more Rick and Morty, right? Number 5, Morty's Mind Blowers. It's more than just an invention. It's an entire protocol. What Rick calls Morty's Mind Blowers in Season 3 Episode 8, some might call a parody of Men in Black or even a parody of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. What makes this invention so significant is that there is actually a 2 to 3 part system involved here, so we'll start with the Mind Eraser. Whenever Morty witnesses something he doesn't want to remember, or if Rick is just feeling like being a total D-bag, he whips out his Mind Eraser and sucks out the memory into a vial. And rather than disposing of the memory, Rick keeps them stored in a secret room with a helmet capable of reviewing them when needed. That's phase 2. The additional step is in case of emergencies. There's a list of solutions hidden in the room for every possible scenario that could go wrong. If that's the case, then sign me up. There's so many things I'd love to unsee. Number 4, Aberdolf Linkler. Remember that time in the episode Rick's Business when Rick invented a morally neutral super leader by combining the DNA from both Abraham Lincoln and Adolf Hitler? Okay, so maybe Aberdolf Linkler wasn't perfect, but he was a person after all. That means Rick created an actual person during his career, you know, besides Beth. But this was through unconventional people-making methods, and that puts Rick right up there with Dr. Frankenstein. Except Rick was smart enough to avoid using recycled body parts, so you could say this decision makes him a little less mad and a little more scientist, because altering DNA to clone a superhuman makes slightly more sense than the former solution. So what if Linkler was just as unstable as Frankenstein's monster? In the end, he still put his life on the line just so Rick and his friends can get high, and that's more than we can say about the other so-called monster. Number 3, Anatomy Park. It's the best Jurassic Park ripoff you could ever imagine in tiny microscopic form. There's very few people alive today that wouldn't jump at the chance to literally go on a fantastic voyage to visit Jurassic Park, I mean Anatomy Park, as seen in Season 1 Episode 3. Admittedly, it would probably take some time to generate interest from the general public, and I'm sure the thought of a theme park located inside an actual human body is bound to get some mixed feelings from people and surely some mild disgust. Not to mention licensing and permits would be a nightmare to acquire for food vendors, which by the way, we're not surprised to see that Panda Express was in there. Still, when you think of the thrill of being shrunk and subjected to attractions like Pirates of the Pancreas and various diseases on display, I think it's safe to say that there may be something here for everyone. Families, science nerds, and thrill seekers alike. Sounds like fun for the whole family. The Microverse. For a scientist like Rick, creating and producing free energy is just another day, but he blew our friggin' minds with this little endeavor. In the episode, The Ricks Must Be Crazy, we explore an entire microverse contained within his ship's battery. This mini world is filled with aliens whose lives have been dedicated to producing kinetic energy under false pretenses to power Rick's flying vehicle. Unfortunately, these beings evolve and become wise to alternate forms of energy, causing Rick to intervene and convince them otherwise by means of force. So now, Rick is provided with unlimited means of energy for his flying junkmobile, and the citizens of the Microverse get to exist so long as they keep that energy flowing. Peace between worlds, right? Number 1, the portal gun. Obviously, the portal gun had to come in at our number 1 spot on this list because it's the most iconic, plot-driven invention featured in the entire franchise. And of course, it appeared from the beginning, in the very first episode. It's a fair assumption to say that Rick is who he is because of this device, the creation of which was clearly a defining moment in his life, and the technology is so advanced that the entire Galactic Federation has been chasing after him ever since. But why? Because it's literally a loophole in the system. Other planets, galaxies, and dimensions aside, this thing can literally take you anywhere in a moment's time, so long as there's enough energy just to keep it powered up. Think of the countless worlds we've been exposed to because of this thing: the giant butt dimension, the couch people dimension. It even paved the way for the dimension run by cybernetically enhanced dogs to exist. Plus, we've seen Rick use his portal gun in just about any sticky situation, whether he's eluding enemies or going on intergalactic snack runs. So let's face it, without the portal gun, there is no Rick and Morty adventures, just a wacky scientist and his average kid counterpart, which is the kind of premise that sounds like it came straight out of 1985 and stuck around till 1990. Well, wubba lubba dub dub, there you have it guys. Thanks for watching all 14 of the best Rick and Morty inventions. Which invention is your favorite? What other inventions would you like to see on the show? Comment down below and let us know. Don't forget to click that little bell icon to become part of our awesome notification squad, as we have new videos dropping every single day, so make sure to subscribe because, as always, Frederator loves you.